Hi, AJ here. Welcome back to Art Isn't Easy. If you were with me on my last video, which was also my first video, I spent a glorious 45 minutes talking about my Criterion purchases that I had made during the flash sale. And I'm sure that was very thrilling to all of you because, as we know, the internet is a prime place to go for discussions of art house, indie, and foreign cinema because that's something that everybody loves in today's political climate. Am I right? Am I right? No? You're all leaving?
Come back!
Okay, thank you. So, today we are going to dive into what's in this bag. In this bag are movies that I did discuss last time. However, here's the difference. I married a person who is not into film, really at all, but because he's a very loving and compassionate person, he decided that he wanted to experience films that I love as a means of connecting with me. And I've loved sharing those films with him. So I decided, like, what films could I show him that I think would appeal to him? So I know what films I showed him, obviously, but in this bag, just to make it a little bit interesting for me, is he ranked them in the order of his least favorite to favorite that I showed him. Now, to be fair, he did say that he really did like all these. So there are 12 movies here. And what I'm going to do now is bring him in so we can talk about movies with someone who doesn't really talk or think or care a lot about movies, which honestly has led to some very interesting conversations. So, if you'll all indulge me, I'm bringing in my smoke show husband, Jesse. So,
Hello,
yes,
local Vembo here to talk about film.
Thembo. Yes, he's in his Thembo phase right now. I don't
Yes.
even know what phase you would say that I'm in, but
I
that's.
don't know how detailed I'm allowed to get on your YouTube, but I could say a thing or two about.
Oh, I declare. Okay, so like I said, these in this bag are movies that I've showed him in the order of what he thought was his least favorite, but also up to his favorite. So let's begin and we'll see what he chooses.
I feel like the first film might surprise you.
Oh, so this is actually the film that I showed him most recently, which is Spy Number 738, Tootsie. Now, the significance with Tootsie is that there is a song in this called It Might Be You, which I have always thought of as like a dream song that I wanted to like feel for someone else. Ever since I first saw the film, I think it was about maybe 13 when I first saw it. And Jesse was the person who I really linked the song with. And it's now sort of become our song, some like early 80s easy listening thing. But Tootsie is probably one of the most well-known movies in the Criterion Collection that a lot of people have seen. So I don't know if I need to like go into it more. So instead, I want you to tell me why you ranked this last
Here's the thing.
while I have
It's
my
like
tea.
it's like in the show Younger, where everyone was like, "You're in your 40s?" Where I'm like, okay, yeah, he was in drag. Is it the most scandalocious lie out there? Like, probably not. I just feel like the reaction was greater than I think if anything, the reaction should have just been impressed across the board because just being trans passing isn't easy. So I'm like, and especially for trans women, they have a harder time. And obviously, he's not a trans woman, but it's like, I think everyone should have just been like, damn, you pulled it off. Like, and instead, everyone was like, you lied to me. You told me you were a woman.
I mean, and it is interesting because they did make this into a Broadway musical, but they changed it and set it to the modern day and made it about the making of a Broadway musical. I feel like this story couldn't really take place today because I feel like in a time before social media, it would have been easier to get away with something like this stunt. But for its time, I do really enjoy it. Dustin Hoffman, despite as problematic as he can be, is wonderful in this. So I do really like it, but I actually am not surprised that Jesse ranked this last. But so there we go. What? Oh, let's see. So what do we have next? I wonder what we have.
Next, we have a film that I saw before I met you.
Oh, I already know what this one is. So,
Spine number 680, Charlie Chaplin's City Lights.
see, he's already getting the hang of what I'm doing. So Jesse has had a history with because his mother,
His monster-in-law.
yes, had a particular interest in Chaplin, and so. But anyways, Chaplin deserves a better discussion than his mother. So Chaplin, this is his masterpiece, I think. But what did you think about it on rewatch? Because you didn't really remember it.
Yeah, I didn't really remember it before we watched it. It was just very sweet and cute and very funny. Like the comedy still holds up, even though, God forbid, it's fucking silent.
Yes, because who? If you watch the last video,
Who wants to watch silence?
Not me.
And a silence is not golden.
No, but it was really good. I feel like the comedy held up. The physical comedy was like, I don't know. There's some physical comedy that can be like, okay, yeah, like you slipped on a banana peel, but like this was like I genuinely, even like with the hole in the ground thing, found myself very much on the edge of my seat, even though it's like it's not that high stakes, but it's still like it was good. It was really well done.
I also very much love, as I talked about on the last video, Chaplin was the king of pathos, and I do love the ending of this film. I think it's very simple, but it's very effective. And and as I mentioned, I do own a couple more of his films. I have Great Dictator and Modern Times over there. But City Lights is his masterpiece. I do think it's one of the best films ever made. But what do we have next?
Along with the best films ever made, we have this gem recently added.
So yes, as a child of the 90s, I was very much obsessed with Pee Wee Herman, and particularly Pee Wee's Playhouse. I even loved Big Top Pee Wee, which no one ever talks about.
Wait, Pee Wee's a top?
Although Paul Rubens we did find out that he was closeted after he died, but that's neither here nor there. That's his personal life. But
and I would never.
I mean, I would hope not. But Pee Wee's Big Adventure. So I do really love this film. I feel like in terms of Tim Burton's filmography, because this was his first feature film, and you do see elements of what would become his style, but it's very subdued. But it's just so ridiculous. Like Jan Hooks, the great Jan Hooks, who had been on SNL as the Alamo tour guide. There's no basement at the Alamo. You can't go wrong with Jan Hooks. Any Jan Hooks fans out there? Maybe all 5 of you. Okay, so why did you rank this on the lower end?
It's not that I didn't like it or find it engaging. I did really enjoy it. I think had I seen this as a kid, it would have been the kind of thing where like the truck driver would have haunted my nightmares for a long time.
You were pretty spooked by Large Marge even in your age of 31.
That's so rude of you to say.
I mean, I am older than him, so it's...
I liked that you could see some of his little spooky elements starting to peek in. I also like the adventure. I just thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun time.
So what do we have next?
Next, I feel like you peeked, and that is not how the game works.
I didn't see it. I really didn't see it, so...
Okay, good. It's also in the wrong order. Next, we have...
Okay, so to explain this one, I did buy, if you do recall my last video, I did have the trilogy set, but we have not watched Before Midnight yet. So Before Sunset will be in here somewhere. So Before Sunrise is a film that I actually really love. And when we watched it, Jesse seemed to have a more muted response to it in a way that surprised me. So I'm going to have him take the lead on this one.
Here's the thing. I loved her. I thought she was wonderful. I thought the character was great. She was interesting. She had interesting thoughts.
She's
She was
also
like,
very attractive.
she is hot. Well, they're both hot,
They're
but
both
here's
very
the
hot.
issue. He was very much like a fuckboy who's like waiting for her to finish a sentence so that he could say his next great thought to blow her mind. And like having lived as a woman who dated men, a little bit, it was kind of brutal. I was like, okay, neckbeard, like I get it. You took a philosophy class that one time. You have a lot of really big feelings about stuff, like, but it's not that it was bad. I mean, like, I did enjoy it. I just feel like she was far more interesting than he was, and I don't know, it very much like everything she said felt like a response to him, and everything he said felt like, I know the sickest thing I could say right now.
I
Which is
mean,
how I felt about. Listen, if you're watching this and you have been a woman who has dated straight men, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
there we go. What do we have next?
Wah, wah!
Oh. For the record, I do think Before Sunset is the best of the three. What I love about Before Sunset, as I talked about before, is that it's far more compact. Like, I feel like it gets in, gets the job done. There's a lot more humor in it, but it also goes into a more darker, dramatic territory to an extent because Before Midnight exists. But I do think this is such a lovely little film, and I did revisit it with Jesse, obviously, because we're talking about it now. I had rewatched Before Sunrise on my own, like about a year or two ago, but I had not seen Before Sunset since it came out a little over 20 years ago. So I did love revisiting it and saw that it held up. So what did you think?
I think he was a little bit more chilled out. Like he actually seemed to listen to what she was saying more. He seemed to be a little more like, I don't know, but I also like that she kind of grew a set and put him in his place a few times. I was like, oh, thank God, someone had to say it. She's like, bro, you wrote a whole fucking book about one night that we had. My grandma was dead. I didn't make it to the train. Like, what do you want me to do here? Like, oh, and now you're writing this book. You come all the way to France. Oh, you want to do. And then she shows him the little song that she wrote, and she's like, okay, low key, I've also been thinking about it for a long time, but I didn't get as weird about it. And that is a dignity that she maintained.
What do we have next?
We have a fun little flick.
Oh, it's going to be Election. So, Election, the performance that I still associate with Reese Witherspoon, even over Legally Blonde. Election is one of the true last gasps of the 90s. Like, it came out in 99. 99 was an amazing year for film. But, like, this film just captures what it felt like to be in school at that time. It just like the styles, the energy. Like, I love Election. It's just so quirky. I mean, very Alexander Payne. But so yeah, why do we have Election at this ranking?
It is one of the only films that has ever made me feel empathy for objectively bad people.
That's actually very true because I mean, because Tracy Flick, who Reese Witherspoon plays, like she does get cheated out of. I mean, spoiler alerts, but I think most of you have probably seen these films if you're watching this. But she did technically almost get cheated out of an election that she won. And yet, you sort of understand why Matthew Broderick does it, even though he's rather morally reprehensible too. But that's also kind of what makes movies interesting, the gray areas.
Well, yeah, and normally, like, because of my autism, I'm a very black and white thinker. So if there's like characters that are like objectively shit people, I'm like, I don't care about you. How do you feel about swearing on your channel? I just realized I've been doing a lot of it.
I did say fuck on my last video, so I would say that word is
Okay,
appropriate. Yeah.
great. I feel like normally, like, if people are objectively horrible, I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, I don't, I'm like, you're just a shitty person. It's like when I was watching Gossip Girl. Like, yes, I watched every episode, did not feel empathy for a single character on that show, but like, I saw that face. So you're like, oh yeah, your cultural touch points.
No, I was really just thinking of. I mean, I watched Gossip Girl too.
Ooh, I didn't know you were cultured like that. Anyway,
XOXO.
normally if the characters are like objectively terrible people, I'm like, I can't care about this. They were all bad people, except for the one jock who was the only good person.
Yeah, Chris Klein is very good in that. I do love him.
But yes, I did actually care about the bad people, which is why I liked that one a lot. Next.
What do we have next?
I was going to say something so terrible.
What were you going to say?
I can't.
You can't?
I can't. If you ever have a dream of being monetized, here, I'll whisper it to you.
Oh. I mean, I would like to be able to be monetized. Although the fact that I said fuck and he said shit.
You're right.
That probably won't happen anymore, but this is...
Next up is the Grand Booty Plug Hotel.
Okay, I guess this video... I'm not making money for this one. Grand Budapest Hotel, the magnum opus of Wes Anderson. I had only seen this film twice before I showed it to Jesse. It still holds up very well. And this was actually I think this was, you said this was the first Wes Anderson film you've seen. So, in some ways, it's all downhill from here. I know I hear some of you screaming right now, but...
No, the rocket one!
The rocket one?
Isn't there one about a rocket?
Oh, Bottle Rocket. That was his first film, which is basically like nothing like the rest of his film. So basically, for me, it's Grand Budapest Hotel, Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore. I do like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I like Moonrise Kingdom. I will say I need to revisit Life Aquatic, but Grand Budapest Hotel, gorgeous to look at. I love the ensemble. Like Rafe Fiennes is wonderful. So, as someone who went to school for interior design at the luxurious Northampton Community College, represent.
Go Spartans!
Tell everybody what you thought about the Grand Booty Plug.
I thought it was great. It was so funny. It had a very like dry and fast-paced sense of humor that I really appreciate, but it was so beautiful. Like the colors were beautiful, the way that they were like everything was so perfectly manicured in like a really beautiful way. Like it was like opulent, but it wasn't like obnoxious. It was like sort of pastel-y in like a really nice way. Like I don't know. I kind of just wanted to like crawl into it and be like, this is beautiful. Like this is how it's very nice.
Yeah, so let's move on.
Next up is a film that I had some ideas about what it would be about, and I was wrong on every single front. We have Korean Eat the Rich.
Parasite. So, yes, Eat the Rich.
I thought it was going to be about parasites. I thought it was going to be a disease movie.
Well, there actually is a horror movie from, I want to say, 1982 that was called Parasite. Which was
okay, so I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy, but this is just not.
Don't ever gaslight me again.
Anywho, I do really love Parasite. Beyond Eat the Rich, what about this one did you like or love even?
I mean, I love the Eat the Rich bit. What I will say is also you see in the dad and even the other guy that was like living in the basement, that little freak, the way that when we have like an employer or a corporation or someone that's like taking care of us in this way, like even the government can be like this, where like people sort of start to worship at the altar of this thing that's actually keeping them down. Like obviously the class systems and like all of that stuff and like the way that the world is built is to keep these people like literally locked in basements like that. But it's like they start worshiping the person that is keeping them locked in the basement, even though obviously they don't know he's in the basement. But the fact of that they are that absurdly wealthy is the thing that is keeping poor people locked in the proverbial basement. You know, quote unquote middle America and flyover states voting for Trump. And it's like, why? He is like actively anti giving you what you need and also like doesn't give a shit about your education and in fact benefits from you not having any. But they're like, thank you. thank you, sir. And it's like very that, which I also really liked.
In case you couldn't guess, we hate Trump.
Not a fan of the Orange Man. Next up
Yes.
is another fun little romp. Fellas, have you ever had a baby so ugly it made you want to fuck the moon?
Oh.
Well, David Lynch has. Not really. I mean, I'm sure he loves his kids. I fucked that up. Eraserhead.
Now, what's interesting about Jesse and the history of his history with David Lynch is that a friend of his is also a film buff who introduced him to Twin Peaks. They saw Mulholland Drive, and so therefore I showed him Eraserhead. I do have Blue Velvet, but he has not seen Blue Velvet yet. Also, Criterion will be releasing Elephant Man in 4K in July, which I will indeed be buying. So Jesse definitely did have a lot of thoughts about Eraserhead, including the whole thing about pounding the moon. That
Yeah, because, like, okay, well, one, depending on the day, this is identical to how I look. We don't have to show them. That's okay. So I mean, it's obvious, like the parent dynamics, the mom getting fed up because she's doing everything and being like, "I'm out of here," and the dad being like, "What do I do? It's a baby. It seems to be sick." Then he's like looking at the radiator. You have like what I can only imagine is either the moon or a moonbeam. She's doing her saucy little like, "Hey there."
Everything is fine.
Right.
with her snowball cheeks.
Yes, which is why I think she might be kind of the moon. But also, like, is the baby a moon parasite? And she like is like, kill the babies, like fuck them kids. You know what I mean? Like, and I then he like either he fucks the moon or like the moon is an orgasm. I can't really tell, but he was just ripping them babies out of her and throwing them at the wall. And like, who hasn't been there? You know?
Yes, kids are annoying.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Sometimes they make you want to fuck the moon.
I mean, I haven't fucked the moon since last Tuesday, but that's
Well,
neither
that's
here
because I
nor
had her this morning. Sorry.
slut.
Next up, the theme of how I'm feeling, having just been called a slut. Na 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 na. No, 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 no. The Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
So, one of the first films I thought to show him that was foreign that I thought could be accessible and interesting to him was this one. My history with Umbrellas of Cherbourg is complicated to say the least. I first saw it when I was in high school and really loved it then, actually. And then I revisited it again around the time La La Land came out because Damien Chazelle talked a lot about how he used this and also Jacques Demi's other musical, The Young Girls of Roquefort, as inspiration for La La Land. La La Land wishes, but yeah. But Umbrellas of Cherbourg is a like romance musical drama, but it can be hard to think about when you're dealing with romance falling apart. And I was in a relationship briefly with someone where when it ended, I thought a lot about this film, and then I couldn't think about it for a few years. And then around the time I met Jesse, the film came back to my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna have to show this one to him because it's it's such a simple story, but it's told on such an epic and colorful scale that like it stays with you. I mean, it's like I mean, Michel Legrand's music. I mean, he was just humming the immortal "I Will Wait for You" theme. But yes, what do you have to
My
say?
experience with this film is a little different. What happened was AJ was like, I'm thinking of a movie to show you, like, we could do this one or this one, and I was like, what if we took an edible and watched the one with the pretty colors? And let me tell you, if you ever want to get baked and watch some pretty colors, this one in Young Girls, it really tickled a spot in my brain. It was so like melodramatic and like, I'm 17, I'm in love with you, and like just great and beautiful. And I actually believed them. And then, in the end, I was like, damn, he made out like a bandit. Like, I don't know. Also, I thought that the woman that he married first, I thought it was like his sister or cousin or something. So then I got very confused. I guess I just drew a through line that wasn't there.
This is what happens when you watch films high.
Listen, it was so good. They're like the umbrellas, they're singing, and they're like, je t'aime, je t'aime, je t'aime.
Mon amour. So, yes, I really. That one would actually be higher up out of the films I've shown him, in my opinion. But what do we have next?
Oh, next we have a little jaunt to Brooklyn with the baddest bitch in town.
Honora was the first film I took Jesse to see in the theater because I knew the type of film Honora was supposed to be, and it was the film that people were like, "Oh, this is going to win the Oscar," or won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. I mean, at that point, we weren't certain if it would, but I knew what the film was about. I knew that Jesse would probably take to it, and I was like, this would be a perfect opportunity to kind of bring Jesse into my world a little bit. So I rewatched the film by myself a second time, and I found myself very put off by the middle of the movie, thinking that it kind of dragged a bit. Because that's not how I felt when I first saw it. When I first saw it, I loved the middle half. So then I watched it with Jesse. So that was my third time, his second. And didn't you say you kind of agreed with
I
my?
do agree. The when they're looking for him, it drags a bit. But Annie's such a bad bitch. I don't care. She's so good. She said, "Your son's a fucking pussy." It was assault and battery.
You also didn't say my favorite one.
Which was it? Jealousy's a disease, Diamond. Remember that.
That's Mikey Madison, Oscar winner, Mikey Madison.
I will say, like, as someone who grew up a girl, like, the bad bitchery within her, the feminine rage, the, like, I could take care of myself, no one else has, I'm gonna beat you with both brass knuckles. Like, I'm like, yes. She gets it. She gets it. It just hit such a good spot. I was like, and it's like very much like I'm a sex worker, I'm not a damsel in distress. Like, but also, like, man, she could punch me dead in my teeth, and I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, and you're right. Just so good.
I do stand by her performance being very good because I feel like a lot of people, like on film forums, were saying that she didn't do anything and that she just wasn't that good.
But also, even in the role, she had such versatility because there's the bad bitch Honora, but then, well, like, there's like the bad bitch Annie. She'll mess up anyone, does not care. But then you watch her like Cinderella story dissolve, and you watch what that does to like the little girl in her, who is like, it's happening. Like, I'm finally gonna be taken care of. I'm finally gonna be loved properly and everything. And then you just watch as it gets taken away from her, and even in the middle when they're looking for him, you can still see it in her face where she's still kind of trying to hold on to it, even though it's like clearly gone. And then, like, even what's his face, like, saw that in her too and was like, "Oh, this is kind of really fucked up." And then the ending scene where it was like, okay, you did something kind for me, I'm going to reciprocate in the only way that I know how, and then I'm going to get really pissed at you for allowing me to do that, even though, like, in your head nothing made sense, but like, just the, like, this is what you want, right? Like, this is all I'm good for, right? Like, And I was just like, damn. God, I would die for Honora. Go off, my good bitch.
So
Now
how
that's
many?
a slut.
But she gets paid for it.
That's true.
So how many more do we have left?
Just one.
And I already know what one it is because there's only one we haven't talked about yet. So this one, although I'm not sure how well they'll be able to tell what that is, The Long Day Closes. This one is not as super well known as some of these. So this is, as I talked about before, a British film by Terence Davies, who's no longer with us. He, in his life, battled his sexuality. For a while, he thought he was gay, then he thought he was bi, then he thought he was kind of like asexual. He was involved with women and men. But this film is set in 1950s Liverpool. It's told from the point of view, you could sort of say told from, the point of view of an 11-year-old named Bud. But the film works as almost like a montage, kind of in the vein that like the Soviets would kind of create with their films back in like the silent era and beyond. But if there was ever a film that I could call a vibe, this film is a vibe. It's a very complex vibe for me. I found myself really identifying with the character of Bud in this, even down to like sort of how he looks, but just the mannerisms, how he would talk, his interests, also battling with my sexuality at that age. And it's not like, but what's interesting is my home life growing up was not bad by any means. Like I'm not trying to, but and it wasn't for him either. Like yes, he was a little bit isolated, but there still was love in the household. Like his mom was a very loving person, but also one of the things about this film that I did talk about before was Terrence Davies liked to use music that you wouldn't expect necessarily to invoke mood. And one of the songs he used in this movie, which was Tammy by Debbie Reynolds, was a song that I used to be obsessed with as a kid in terms of like wanting to like have someone feel that way about me. And then when he used it in this film, it about destroyed me. And for the longest time I couldn't hear the song without crying. So when I introduced this film to Jesse, it was very much like I was letting him peer into my soul in a way that I had not let really anyone do before. So, with all that in mind, tell me why this is your favorite.
Because of everything you just said. Um, yeah, so first of all, like I've seen home videos of AJ when he was around this age. I also would love for him to do reviews of home films, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I so clearly saw AJ, but not only did I see AJ, but I also saw a lot of like me, um, in a lot of ways, but in a very different way. Like the isolation, the staring at things. Mine was because I was a very traumatized child, but um, I don't know, it was like watching that and then envisioning AJ as this kid who is like desperate for friends and like for connection and for love and like also like repressing parts of himself and like there was just so much there that I was just completely moved and I feel like this film was very effective in bringing a lot of that out.
And I will stress it is because of the type of film it is. I'm not sure it'll be for everyone, but it is very short. It's not even an hour and a half long, but it does succeed well at what it was trying to do. So, with that in mind, we have come.
Jesse's in love.
So, we've come to the end. I do want to make a comment really fast. If you've noticed the video looking a little bit like if there's like weird cuts or like the camera angle slightly changes, we've had some issues where the camera ran out of storage space. So I had to stop and delete more and more. It happens, I think it was twice it happened to us. So
Yeah.
you're going to like maybe see like slightly different like sudden camera angles. So we did the best we could. But until next time, I do want to say thank you again for joining us. I don't know what the next video is going to be. The possibilities are endless. I would say we had a good time with this. Did you have a good time with
I
this?
had a great time.
Well, we'll have to try to bring him back because he's the personality hire.
The resident Thembo.
Meanwhile, I'm the aging daddy type. Ah!
Yes, Daddy.
That's going to be awkward for certain people that might watch this video. But, oh well. I love you.
I love you.
And thank you all for watching. Hopefully you don't mind two guys kissing. Otherwise, you can just go find some like.
I feel like you probably wouldn't like this channel very much if that's not your bag.
That's very true. Yeah, you're not going to be happy with what you see here. But and the long video closes. Toodles.
Bye bye.